Hi everybody. Today we're going to do the slope review, section 4.2, which is the first page of the new packet. So the learning target is all about slope. I can find slope given a table, given 2 points, given a graph, say if it's positive or negative, zero or undefined, and interpret in a real world problem using units. Okay, so we talked a little bit about slope yesterday. Slope is really just the steepness of a line, how steep it is. So if a slope is really steep, it looks like that. If a slope isn't very steep, it looks like that. So if it goes really fast, really quickly, it's really steep. If it kind of rises slowly, it's not so steep. So this would be like very steep, and this would be not very steep. Another thing about slope is a lot of people think of it as rise over run. How much does it rise over how much does it run? And we'll talk more about that later. So here are all the different types of slope. One thing to note, guys, you always look left to right. Okay, always look left to right. So look at this one here. As you're going left to right, the graph, the line is going up, so that would be an increasing or positive slope. Now look at this next section here. As you go from left to right, it is going down, so that would be a decreasing or negative slope. And if you look at this one, it just flat lines across. This one actually has a slope of 0 if it's straight across. And then this one goes straight up and down, and that slope is called undefined. Okay, so those are the 4 types of slope. Now, first thing in finding slope is given a graph. And this is the easiest thing. You literally just count. So you take your left point and you count towards your right point. Always go in the y direction first and in the x direction at the bottom. Okay, so to get from this point to this point, I'm going up 1, 2, 3. Okay, so up 3 would be positive 3. And then I'm going over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that would be positive 6. And then you always want to reduce. 3 over 6 reduces to 1/2. So the slope is positive 1/2. All right, let's do number 2. So from the left point to the right point, we're going up 2, and then we're going right 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, if you reduce 2/4, it's also 1/2. Okay, it's not always 1/2. Let's do number 3. All right, from left point to right point. This time we're going down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Down would be negative. And then right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this would be negative 6 over 5, and that doesn't reduce. Okay, so that's finding slope given a graph. If you guys turn the page, next is finding a slope using 2 points. And there's a formula for this one. The formula is you subtract the y values in the numerator, and then you subtract the x values in the denominator, and that gives you the fraction of slope. Okay, so let's figure out what these are. An ordered pair, the first one is going to be x1, y1, and the second one is going to be x2, y2. And if you can remember what's what, you just need to plug it in the calculator and get your answer. Okay, so y2 minus y1. Here's y2 and here's y1. We need to subtract. So negative 1 minus 2. And then we do in the denominator x2 minus x1. Here's x2, Here's x1. We need to subtract. Negative 4 minus 5. Okay, at this point, you guys can do a couple things. One thing is to just type it straight in the calculator. So get your fraction key and literally just type it in. Negative 1 minus 2, and then on bottom, negative 4 minus 5. And it's going to do it for you. The slope is 1/3. Now, if you want to do it in your head, you're just going to have to reduce it. So I would just use the calculator. All right, let's try number 2. So again, this is x1, y1, and this is x2, y2. Okay, so let's do it. So in the numerator, it's y2 minus y1. So negative 3 minus negative 6. Now, some of you might be like, wait, why do you have two negative signs? There's a negative sign in the formula, and then this y was negative itself. Now, if you guys remember, a minus really just becomes plus plus. So whenever you're subtracting a negative, it becomes a big plus plus. Now in the x's, 1 minus 2. All right, let's type that in and see our answer. So alpha y equals, get your fraction key. We're typing in negative 3 plus 6, and on bottom, 1 minus 2. And hopefully you guys got negative 3 for that one. All right, last one. Okay, so for the y's, it's going to be 0 minus 2, right? Y minus y. And then for the x's, it's going to be x minus x. But remember what we said, it's minus a minus, which actually means plus a plus. And then I'm going to get my fraction key going. On top, we have 0 minus 2. And on bottom, we have the fraction 3/2 plus the fraction 1/2. And hopefully you guys get negative 1 as the slope. Okay, we're almost done. There's some special lines that I just want to show you. So these are going to be the same as what we just did. Okay, so you're going to do y minus y, so 4 minus 4, over x minus x, but 4 minus a negative 2 really becomes plus a plus. Okay, so let's see what happens there. If you guys were to type this in, on top you would get 4 minus 4, and on bottom you would get 4 plus 2. You end up getting 0. Okay, so just so you know, sometimes the answer is 0. But now let's do 8. All right, so in the numerator, y minus y, so 1 minus 5. And then in the denominator, 3 minus 3. And look what happens when you guys type that one in. So let's get our fraction bar. We got 1 minus 5, and then we got 3 minus 3. Now this one gets error. It says error, you can't divide by 0. When you guys see that, it's called undefined. So that one, the slope is undefined. The trick, if you guys want a trick, when the numerator equals 0, the slope is 0. But when the denominator equals 0, the slope is undefined. That's how you know. And then lastly, on the front we talked about this. If it's a vertical line, up and down, the slope is undefined. And if it's a horizontal line side to side, the slope is 0. And the easy way to remember that is the word Vuxhoy. And here's what it stands for. If it's a vertical line, the slope is undefined, and it passes through the x-axis. If it's a horizontal line, the slope is 0, and it passes through the y-axis. All right, guys, great job. I hope that made sense. Your homework is the next 2 pages on slope. So you're going to do page 1 and page 2. Okay, so it's all calculating slope. All right, thanks for watching, guys. We'll review it tomorrow.